Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees to the Gita Daily program. So, thanks all of you for joining. So, today we will be discussing Sloka 2.62 and 63. So, normally every day we discuss one Sloka, but today we are discussing two Slokas because these two are very closely interconnected. So, we'll discuss both of them. So, let us take the blessings of the Lord Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Mai, Sudarshan, Gauranta, and Narsimhadev, and Panchatattva, their blessings. Let us recite the prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we'll dedicate the session to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, by whose mercy we are able to understand Bhagavad Gita in a simple and practical way. So let's come to the today's sloka. So we have two shlokas today. Both are closely interconnected. So we'll recite the shloka. So we are discussing shloka 62 and 63 from chapter 2. ध्यायदो विषयान् पुंसा सङ्गस्तेषु भजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामात् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमा स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. You can repeat after me. ध्यायदो विषयान् पुंसा सङ्गस्तेषु भजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामात् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमा स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. From anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again to the material pool. So let's see the word to word meaning. Dhyayada, while contemplating, Vishayan, sense objects, Pumsa, of a person, Sangha, attachment, Teshu, in the sense objects, Upachayade, develops, Sangat, from attachment, Sanjayade, develops, Kama, desire, Kama, from desire, Krodha, anger, Abhijayade, becomes manifest, Krodhat, from the anger, Bhavadi, takes place, Sammoha, perfect illusion, Sammohat, from illusion, Smriti, of memory, Vibhrama, bewilderment, Smriti Bramshad, after bewilderment of memory, Buddhinasha, loss of intelligence, Buddhinashad, and from loss of intelligence, Pranashyati, once fall down. So, today we are discussing the shloka, which is like a formula of fall down. No, it discusses what is the starting point of one's fall down, right? How basically it starts and what are the series of incidents or the chain of actions which will follow and finally which results in the fall down. So it's very important for us to understand the shloka and try to guard us against from the fall down. So last time we were discussing the previous shloka um, how an attachment to the higher principles we can get detached from the lower things, right? We saw that param drishto anivartate, right? So basically we saw in the last session that artificially controlling the senses is difficult, but when we get higher taste, then automatically the lower tastes all are disappearing, like we lose the lowest taste. So that is the last. So today we will see this shloka, how actually the series of incidents which happens for the fall down. So let us try to see a small chart. So actually, what is discussed in the shloka is like this. This is the flow. So how initially it starts with the contemplation of sense objects. So through our five senses, we do get some information about the surroundings, right? So we hear something, we see something, or smell something, etc. So first we see, first we get the sense input, right? And then we start contemplating on it. We start thinking about it, right? And when we think about it, an attachment develops to that. Mm, then once attachment develops, then then lust develops. Lust actually is the desire to enjoy, right? That sense object. So then lust develops. From lust, when the lust is not satisfied, or lust is unfulfilled, or when there are obstacles to the lust, then we become angry, right? And when we become angry, with anger, what happens? We become comes under illusion. We lose our correct perception of the reality, right? It results in delusion, and from delusion, the memory is lost, or bewilderment of memory. Memory is confused. We will see these things with an example. So let's first we'll just go through the flow. And when there is a bewilderment of memory, then intelligence is lost. The ability to distinguish what is right and wrong is lost. And when intelligence is lost, then actually that results in the fall down, right? We take actions which will result in the fall down. We come back to the material pool. So this can apply to a normal person in the normal materialistic life, or also for a person who is trying to progress in spiritual life. In either case, this kind of fall down can happen. So the process of flow is real. So understanding the flow, how does it help in our life? We can actually guard us against this fall down. So I'll stop the sharing now. Yeah, so how do we understand this particular series of incidents? So this topic actually we'll be continuing the discussion in next session also. So today we'll focus only on the how the fall down happens, the sequence of incidents, right? And in the next session we will see how what is the right way to prevent the fall down, or how can we we talked about higher getting taste for higher things, right? So how can we practically implement? We will see it in the next session. So today we'll focus on the sequence, right, of series of incidents that happen, right? So to understand this, we will revisit. Actually, we have seen the story of Ajamila some time back, right? If you remember, we discussed the Ajamila story. So we will revisit the story, in the context of today's topic. Okay, so Ajamila was actually a Brahmana. He was born in a respectable Brahmana family, right? So he was born in a city called Kanauj, right? Or it was known as Kanyagubja earlier, and now Kanauj in the Uttar Pradesh. Now today's modern world Uttar Pradesh, and it was actually many thousands of years back, right? And he was following the Vedic scriptures. He was well trained in the Vedic scriptures, and he was performing his duties with perfect discipline. And he was a very he was very pure in his mind, activities, everything. He was fully devoted to dharma, and he was actually helping his father performing in devotional service, like he does puja, etc. So one day, he was very young person, young boy, and actually he goes to the forest, to collect flowers for helping his father. And while on his way to forest, he will see a low class prostitute, who was embracing his lover on the on the way. So Ajamila actually was very much, as we told, he was very perfect in his devotional service, and he was not used to seeing such things. So this particular scene, it struck him so much, right? He just saw, just glanced this particular scene, and then he continued. He went to the forest, get the flowers, and he returned home. Okay, so but in this particular scene which he saw, it actually stuck to his memory, right? And he kept on trying to recollect or remembering it again, right? So he repeatedly remembered the scene, and by remembering actually he developed attachment. So we are now correlating to the sequence, right? So what is the first step? Actually, what happened is Ajamila just saw, right? He just saw a particular scene, and so Dhyayado Vishayan Pumsa, right? So he actually contemplated on this scene. Then actually what happened when he contemplated, he actually started liking that particular scene, and he started developing attachment. And then his mind kept on returning to that image, and then the more he thought about it, his resolve, his dharmic resolve, he get became weakened. right? And then he started having attached desire, actually, then he started thinking that he want to enjoy with that woman, right? So this way desire, lust arised, right? And then slowly, gradually the lust become very strong, right? And then he had very strong desire to fulfill his desire. So then what happened, actually? So then he had many obstacles, no, because he was already married at that time. He had a family, a wife, right? So, and then he were following the religious principle. So because of these obstacles, he became angry, like he was thinking that how he can eliminate the people, or the obstacles in his path, which result in anger. And when all these things developed, he actually is in, he bewilderment happened, actually. So he lost his proper understanding, right? He forgot, actually, he got confused of his dharma, what to do, what is right and what is wrong, right? And then after bewilderment, loss of memory. So loss of memory actually means that he forgot his identity, right? Who he was, like, he is a learned brahmana, he is supposed to follow dharmic principles. He forgot his relationship with his wife. Forgot his relationship with his family members. Everything, actually, he lost the memory. In the sense, he forgot, actually, is the real position, that what was his duty, right? And with that loss of memory, samoha, what is next happened? Smriti brahma. So smriti vibrahma, he loss of intelligence. So he lost his ability to distinguish what is right and wrong, right? And then he started, like, justifying his intentions, right? And then what happened after this? Actually, he fall down. Basically, when he lost his intelligence, he abandoned his family, right? He left his family, like, he left his wife, he left his parents who were supposed to take care, and then he started living with this prostitute, right? And then following that, his complete fall down ensued. No, like, basically, once had started living with her, then actually to maintain her, he had to commit many sinful activities. He started stealing, started to cheat others, right? So this way he completely fell down. He degraded completely, and he became fully fallen down. So from a pure Brahmana, he became a, completely degraded person. A complete extremely sinful person. So this is how the fall down of Ajamila happened. So what actually are the some of the important, lessons that we can learn from this today's topic, right? so So basically, what we understood is that everything started from the contemplation of sense objects, right? So basically, our senses are the inputs, or we discuss, no, they are the windows to the external world. So they give us various inputs. So the jiva has a free will, right? And but the free will, actually, because is under the influence of Maya, its free will, there is weakness in the jiva, right? How much he can control. So it is just like an example of a fire, we can think, no, when a small fire breaks out, no, in the initial point it may be just a spark, or it may be very small fire. So in the initial stages, a fire is very easy to control, right? We can put out the fire with, just by blowing air, or no, just by putting some small amount of water, the fire is quenched. But however, if you are not able to stop it in the beginning, then actually it becomes very difficult to control, no, it becomes a raging fire. We have recently, seen that many incidents, something happened in Goa, right? But then similarly, the forest fire also happens like that. It is mentioned in the forest, automatically fire develops because it can be just because of friction between the trees. No, like typically, like if there's a bamboo forest, when the bamboo trees like rub each other, no, in the wind, that friction actually will result in a small spark. But then gradually it becomes a very huge raging forest fire, no, which nobody can control, like with so much of effort. So similarly, this sequence of incidents we saw, it start with just the small thing. No? We just see something, we just contemplate on it. So that is a starting point. So it is easy to control at that earlier stage. No, at that point itself, if you are able to restrict our thoughts, right? If you are able to control, then actually the remaining sequence can be prevented. But actually, we will see in the next session how, artificially controlling is very difficult, right? Because if you control today, tomorrow again it may come, because the tendency is there, the seed is there in the heart. So as long as the seed is there, even if you make attempts to control, it cannot be, it's very difficult, to really sustain that particular control. So nevertheless, from a practical perspective, it is very important that in the beginning, actually we need to control, right? But otherwise the sequence will go on. No, it's very difficult to control it. So Yeah, so from a, like, in a personal life we saw how we can apply it. So similarly in a professional life, what actually we can do is that, like, too much attachment, right, to the result. This actually we should avoid, because the attachment to the result will often result in, become. So let's say when we do not achieve the results, then we become angry or frustrated, right? So we should slowly start becoming detached from the results. So we should put our best effort, but then not become too much attached to the results, right? So this is one, practical thing we can apply in our work life. I mean, it's applicable in all works of life. From a family life, actually we could give the knowledge to, our family members, how it is important to recognize the triggers, emotional triggers, or, or how actually the sequence of incidents happen which results in the fall down, right? And another thing we could apply is, following the principles of simple living and high thinking. So we should try to minimize, our requirements, right? But then have a high vision, how high thought, high values, right? So that is more important than having high possessions, right? Having opulence, money, wealth, so much of opulence and possession. So this is not much valuable compared to having a high moral standard and value. So we should give more importance to the things which are connected with our soul. No, we have seen that. No, we are not the body, the soul. So soul is a real person. So we should think of long term, right? What actually is ultimately beneficial for the soul, right? So this way we can apply these principles in our daily life. So trying to wrap up today's session. So what are the key takeaways? What are the key things we understood? Is that we saw the sequence. No, the Lord is explaining to Arjuna what are the series of incidents which actually start from contemplation to the downfall, right? So initially we contemplate, then we become attached to that, then from attachment lust develop, from lust, when the lust is unfulfilled, it results in anger, from anger delusion arises, which is like a illusion, and from delusion memory is lost, no, bewilderment of memory, right? And from memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and actually that results in the fall down. Okay, so with that, I think we come to the end of today's topic. So if anybody wants to leave at this point, they can leave. But if somebody has any question, they can actually ask, unmute and ask, or they can put it in the chat. It looks like no question. So Hare Krishna, then so we'll meet tomorrow. And like, we request everybody to join regularly for the session. So also please apply what we learn. Try to apply, in a small way, whatever we learn in our day-to-day life, so that, it actually is beneficial from a practical perspective. So we'll end here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Once again, thanks all of you join. We'll see you again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.